Learning to be a better reviewer is critical because it helps to externalize the knowledge that you're learning as a writer yourself. When you have to give that advice to someone else, you're creating a kind of dialogue in your own mind about what is valuable in writing. And so this may or may not be something you do when you're revising your own work, but when you have to frame that advice for another person, it becomes explicit to you in a way perhaps that it doesn't any other way. So I think that doing reviews quite simply makes you more aware of the revision moves that you yourself might then use with your own writing. Review itself is a skill that people need on the job. So the ability to look at someone else's work, to understand what could happen to make it better, that's a critical part of being a leader in a knowledge work situation. So if you're going to advance beyond the entry level, chances are you're going to be reviewing the work of other people, and you're going to be charged with making that work better, understanding if it meets a particular standard, and then improving it.
There are relationships between reading and writing. And historically, the way in which writing teachers, English teachers, language arts teachers have understood that relationship is to have students read good writing, good literary writing, good literary nonfiction writing, in the hopes that in reading that writing, some of what they learn from the writing of other people transfers to their own writing. With Eli, we're making that a tighter relationship. What we're working with is the notion that in teaching students to read the writing of others, student writing in this case, in a very focused and structured way, that we can help students become better writers in their own right. So they practice very structured reading activities as a part of the review process, driven by particular kinds of criteria. And then in reading the work of others in that way, it gives them an experience of the kind of writing that they, in turn, are expected to do at the same time. So the students, therefore, have the experience of criteria related to a writing assignment as a reader and as a writer. They understand the writing assignment and the criteria that are governing that writing assignment in terms of what they need to do to be successful. As writers, they practice that in their own writing. Then they turn around as readers and say, okay, how do I see those same criteria and those same values playing out in the writing of my peers? And can I respond to them in a productive way to try and help them become better writers in relationship to those criteria and those values? So the pedagogical theory here is that students get a very focused, very structured reading experience alongside a very focused and very structured writing experience, and that the relationships between those two have an impact, have a positive impact on the writing improvement that we see in students.